All right, everybody. So I'm really excited because today I get to introduce Digna. She is going to share how she protects 50 families a month on telesales, doing telesales. I've known her now for about a year. I guess the first time I met her was the Orlando Sales Conference, but I feel like I met her before that. But that really stands out in my mind because she did a 15-minute training on telesales that I believe was probably the best training on telesales that I've seen since I've been with Family First Life. And I've seen all the trainings. So for me to say that is a pretty tall order. She's super approachable, really easy to get along with. She helps everybody. She goes out of her way to help her clients. Her clients really do come first. She's service minded, but she's a really hard worker, and she's put systems in place to make this as systemic as possible. And so I feel like you guys can learn a ton from her story, her background, and just some of the do's and don'ts of how she's gotten to where she is. So, Digna, thank you so much for being on with us. We really appreciate this.
Oh my God, thank you for having me. I'm so honored. Trey, you like the godfather of Family First Life. You like here from the beginning, and I follow your story, and I'm very honored to be here. Stephen Yee is like one of my favorite people in Family First Life. And I thank you very much. And I'm hoping to bring value to the team. And hopefully after today, I think a lot of people are going to be like recruiting a little more too after today.
I believe that's the truth. That's excellent. So, for those that don't know Dignick, just tell us a little bit about your background and how you found FFL.
Absolutely. So Digna de Leon Morris, I am a Latina. And I tell you what, before Family First Life, I had a corporate background. So I came to this country when I was young, and I wanted, to be a professional. I went to college. I got 2 college degrees in New York. And I thought my way to success was through corporate America, and I did really well. I was a supervisor, district manager for about 30 different pharmacies in New York and New Jersey. I had no life, okay, and a big job. I'm a mom of 4 children, so my biggest pain and the why was to be home with my children. That was the thing that drove me to look for other options. So, and I'm very grateful to my husband of 22 years, who introduced me to entrepreneur and having our own business and all this dream and all this stuff. And I'm like, my husband went crazy. He really think I'm going to leave my job. I was such a good employee. Anybody here, good employee type 1 or me in the shop? Because I was the best employee you could ask for. I was always there. I got every promotion. I was like the person to go to. And I was just so in love with corporate America. And then I found myself being like the number 1 in sale, running an $82 million operation for a big corporation, and then having a glass ceiling above my head that I couldn't get through. And I was like, wait, is it because I'm a woman? Is it because I'm a Latina? What's the deal here? So it was really hard to get through that. And then when my husband introduced me to network marketing, I thought it was crazy. But then I got introduced to personal development, and it completely changed my life. When I heard Jim Rohn said, work harder on you than at your job, like those two, that right there, I was like, oh my gosh, I've been working on my job for too long. And I started reading books and going to seminars and learning. And it was 6 years of struggle, kind of learning the industry. But then we made 6-7 figures in network marketing, which is something that most people cannot say. It's a very hard industry. But then we lost all of that in 2017. Like our life just took a turn. The company went the other way. They switched everything, compensation, and I just couldn't do it anymore. And I was forced to get my license for insurance. I don't know who was forced here, but I was. That was the last thing in my mind. My husband said, you need to get licensed, because everybody was talking about insurance, and it's such a great industry. And I was like, no way, not gonna do it. Anyway, back and forth, I got my license. And for 4 years, I worked doing infinite banking. That's what I did. The whole fully underwritten product, one company, one product, really tough. Friends and family. My biggest training was like 200 people on a piece of paper, so you could call your friends and family, and 40% compensation. And yeah, so that was very special to do, and I did really well. I was the number one in my agency, but we were all broke, so that was not really that good. Okay, so but I did a six-figure a year, which wasn't bad for friends and family. So we went to an industry event, which you were speaking on that stage not too long ago. We went to 1% Nation. They had a small event in Orlando. And here I am after working with one particular company for a few years, doing infinite banking and realizing that, man, this is really hard. My brother I'm still waiting for him. It's been 4 years. He still didn't get the policy. Like, I'm like, what's going on here? So I'm still waiting for him, by the way. So my brother didn't get a policy for me, and my sister already had one, and my mom had two. Like, what do I do next? So it was really tough. I have no idea that there was something like leads, like you could actually buy leads. I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know about simplified issue policy. I didn't know the agents get paid in 48 hours. Like, it was 2 weeks on the 15th and the 30th. That's it. Mind you, if you have a policy that was approved on the 16th, you won't get paid on that one until the 1st. So it was really tough, guys. Life is too short to get paid twice a month. Okay, so that was my thing. So I went to that event, and I heard people talking about simplified issue. They're talking about we get paid in 48 hours. I hear people saying I'm making 40 grand a month, and I'm like, wait. Like, everything stopped for me at that point. I'm like, am I missing something here? We've been working so hard, and I had just gotten out of that one agency, and I went on to build my agency. Guys, all I wanted to do here, knowing business and being committed, I wanted to build an agency. That's all I wanted to do. And they will always change something. Like, I came in with, and I had my friends get licensed, and I had like 10 agents in that other company, and everybody was direct to my manager. Like, I didn't have anybody direct to me. That's how they do it. I mean, that's just real, guys. So first of all, if you're brand new, I'm going to talk to you right now. If this is your first company, you just got licensed, or you're getting licensed, or you just, found out about this company and somebody invited you here, I want to talk to you, because you are so lucky. You are so lucky to get started with Family First Life, because there is absolutely nothing like Family First Life out there. I worked for the big mutual company doing infinite banking. Same thing, 50% compensation. My agents went direct to my manager, adding on my business. Guys, when I left that company, they sent me a letter saying, do not call these people because they're not your clients, kind of thing. They didn't say it that way, but that's how I took it. But the people that were on the list were my husband, my mother, I mean, these are my friends and family. They're telling me not to call them. I told my husband, I can't talk to you because you're one of my clients. So that's the stuff that's out there. And this is real. We're talking about big companies, right? So then, long story short, I came in day one. I recruited myself into Family First Life. By the way, nobody recruited me. All my agents, it was me and 10 agents, and we're looking for a home. We're like, wait, there's something better. We need to find out. One of my agents just kept sending me the videos, and I was like, this cannot be real. I didn't think it was real. I said, these people are crazy. And I said, well, I need to find out for myself. How many of you needed to find out for yourself? That's what I needed to do. And then I was a part-time, not all-in agent at the beginning. I was a secret agent for 4 months because I still had a contract with that big mutual company, which was one of the biggest mistakes that I regret today, that I didn't go all in from the beginning. I was sort of like a part-time, let me see if it works kind of thing. And then I went to a convention, and I met Stephen Yee, and I talked to him, and he's such an awesome, I had such a great conversation with him. And then I met, who I work with today, Marissa Mazziati, who is an angel in my life. And then I realized how big this was. And then April of last year, I went full time, and I haven't looked back since. That was a long answer, but
Well, I'm glad you shared it, because the reality is, outside of FFL, that is what it looks like. And the people that started here, I mean, you were born in a Bentley and you don't even realize it. Um,
Oh,
so, but when you come from somewhere else, it's easy to not get shook because you understand the alternatives. And I guess that's really a good segue into my next question. I mean, you got started, April was like the first full-time month. What was the biggest obstacle early on that you faced, and how did you overcome that?
so to give you some context on that, I never called the lead in my life. Like I didn't know what that was. Like you actually call these people. So my biggest challenge was to try to like relearn and forget what I knew, right? So for me, I wanted to complicate things here. I was like, wait, I need to do an illustration for this client. Wait, I'm going to do it on Zoom. Like this is me thinking, trying to do my own thing because I used to work on Zoom with friends and family. So I didn't really get uncomfortable. So calling a lead and calling 3 times, which I'm like, why would we call somebody 3 times again? Like I was questioning everything and I was very like, I don't know if this is real. How we're going to do this? Why am I going to call these people? I don't think I've ever do in home. That's what I said I had all these things in my head, right? Because I think I knew what I was going to do. And then I tried my way and it didn't work. So I was like, okay, call 3 times, no problem. In home, okay, how many appointments? 15. Okay, I'm out. So the first day I went to in home, it was so funny, guys, because I mean, you used to be chasing your friends and family where I come from. Now here I made this appointment. I go to this first place, very, humble place. And the guy is outside waiting for me. He's like, insurance lady, here. I was like, he saw me like I was a little lost. It was like an apartment building in Jacksonville. And I'm like, is he talking to me? Is there a camera anywhere here? Like I thought it was a setup. Anyway, I went out on my first time on in-home and I protected 4 families. And it was a game changer for me. I was like, these people really want insurance. Like, this is no joke. I'm not convincing. I'm pretty much just be doing my service, right? Like I'm just fulfilling an order. And it felt so different to do that. And I was hooked. Like I was like, this is insane. Like this is real. So I had to get out of my own way, and I was complicating things. I wasn't listening to my managers because I was like, no, I'm not gonna call 3 times. That's weird. No, it's not weird. They pick up on the 3rd time. Period. That's what they
Yep.
do. Don't ask me why. I don't know, but that's what they do. So that's kind of what one of the biggest challenges for me.
What about recently, now that you've been at it? What's a challenge now?
So right now, one of the challenges that is that I decided I made a decision, guys. You got to make a decision. So tell yourself right now, I have to make a decision. I made a decision to recruit at a high level. So now to try to balance the 2 things, it's been challenging, and I'm trying to find my way to there. Because recruiting is a whole other animal, but it's something that I should have done earlier on because I know how to recruit. I've been recruiting for 18 years or plus, but I wasn't like sure. Like I had some chargebacks that set me back, and I was like, let me just work with these people. That's a mistake, big mistake. You got to keep bringing people. You got to keep recruiting. You got to keep talking to people. And let me tell you, I made that decision recently, and I have 30 people in class right now, all women, all moms, only speak Spanish. Okay, because that's another mistake. I should have spoke Spanish from the beginning, and I didn't. And I today I was just on my Zoom with 15 new agents, and I just saw the policy this morning, training my agents how to do it. So recruiting and selling at the same time could be challenging, and that's one of the things that I'm balancing within my agency right now.
I love it. Well, you have the answer. The answer is work in groups, improve the model with new people, and that's actually what keeps it exciting. And then what happens is people are going to take action, and they're gonna maybe do better than you did, and then you can point to them. And then once you can do that, then it'll take off for you because they'll just do what you did. So good work.
That's a great,
Congratulations.
thank you. Let me say that that's a great point, because I don't know if anybody here, like you feel like tired, like, oh my God, I'm calling these people. Anybody here felt like you were ready to throw the towel, like it's just too much, like it's crazy, like hire a couple of new people. Oh my goodness, my energy. My husband was like, "My God, your energy hasn't been like this. Like you're like crazy right now, working around the clock." It's the new energy, new people. They come in with all this hunger, and you're ready to help them. So if you feel like tired right now, go hire 3 new people and watch what happens. Seriously.
I'm into that. That is the secret. That's right. So let's talk specifically about selling. I have some questions I was going to ask you. So let me get my thing to come up here. Um, so you do it 100% on the phone, right, Digna? So how do you set the table with the client? Are you doing one call closes? Are you setting appointments to see people? What does that look like?
So I do
Or
both.
both?
So and I do want to say this because when I transitioned to telesales back in May last year, so it's been over a year and a half now that I'm doing telesales. At the beginning, I was a disaster. I just want you to know this. I was really good in home. I did hybrid, and I went and I'm thinking I'm all that, right? So I said, let me put my live transfers on. I hear people saying this is the easiest way. They call you, blah, blah, blah. $700 later on Thursday, I was like, this is not working. I didn't close anybody. I need to go back to in-home. So take your time learning the telesales because it's a whole different ball game, right? So you got to keep these people on the phone, and you got to try to do a policy from beginning to end in 30 minutes, which I do all the time now. I didn't do that at the beginning. The beginning was really tough. Okay, so understand that the only thing that gave me the hope and the success was doing it a lot. So activity is going to be your best friend. You got to do a lot of calls. You got to be on the phone a lot. You got to call more leads. And that's going to help you, get better on the phone, because now you're compounding your efforts. You're compounding your results. And that's what matters, right? Because at the end of the day, if you do something on Monday and then you wait to do it on Friday again, you're not going to be as good. But if I did 5 presentations on Monday, by the number 4, I'm already better because I already know what I said here that didn't work. I'm not going to say it on the next one. So I set the table is easy. I'm like, hey, Mary, and another thing, I'm doing a lot of Spanish people right now, which is a whole different ball game. Spanish people are a little special. You got to be like sweet, and you got to call them Miss, Doña Juana, or you got to call it Don Trey. They like that. Respect is very important with the Spanish market. So, but if I call John, I say, hey, John, this is Digna, and I have been assigned to help you with this request you sent to our office. This is for your life insurance information. I'm your field underwriter, and I'm going to be the one helping you today. So I'm helping John. I set myself and understand this. There's 2 people on this call. You are the only one with the license. So they got to understand that you are a licensed underwriter, and you're going to help them. You're not selling. You're not talking fast. They can rush me to do my thing fast. No, we're going to take our time because I want to make sure that I am talking to John, and it's not your son or your daughter. Somebody wants to put this information and get a life insurance on you because you're going to die tomorrow. So I got to do my job. I have to protect my license. My dog just got in. And let me close my door. Give me 1 sec. Sorry, guys. My apologies. That's what happens when you work from home. So so what I do, I immediately get that connection with them, who I am, why I'm there. Here's the thing. You got to find out why you're there. What is the problem? Why this client picked up the phone and called you, or put the information in the system, or spoke to somebody if it's a live transfer. Why am I there? I need to find out the why. So John, my name is Digna, and I always say, Digna like dignity, so they kind of remember my name. Like I say something, and you can spell it Digna. John, is this your cell phone? Can I go ahead and send you a text message quickly so you could have a copy of my license? Whenever I'm able to send my credibility, I prefer to do that because I send it with a picture and I'm smiling, and then they could put a face with a name, and then now they're talking to me. So it feels like I'm there with them. If I'm not able to do that, because some people are not really good. If they're older, they don't know. If I do it, I will have to call you back. No, don't worry, you get it later. So here, write this down. Can you get a pen and paper? Why? because I want to make sure they're not driving, they're not in Walmart, they actually sitting down somewhere that they could take notes. Get a pen and paper so I could go ahead and give you my information. And like, okay, give me a second, right? So they got pen and paper. I give them my national producer number, make sure that they know how to spell my name. And then I go right into my steps. Now, first that you have to know, first of everything is, why am I here? So John, tell me about how you're looking for life insurance today. Did somebody recently passed away, or did you find out that your term is going to expire? Tell me a little bit about that. Don't take the first thing they say. Dig in. What else? What else happened, John? Okay, and just spend some, I promise you, if you spend time, if you take the time at the beginning, finding out the why, the rest of your application and everything else is going to be a lot easier. So tell me more. Okay, so you have a work policy. Whatever it is, sorry about that. Whatever it is, ask more questions. You're asking questions. You want to know what the problem is. Because if you don't have an actual problem, how are you going to offer a solution? Right? If the person is not sick, how's the doctor going to prescribe a medication? So I want to ask the question, why am I here today, John? Tell me more. So once we do that, we establish that there is a problem, and there's always this. Sometimes they're going to say, I just had a client this morning. Well, I just want a price. Well, Mary, I'm sorry. I don't do prices. I actually qualify you for insurance. So those are other departments. That's not who I am. I'm here to qualify you for this insurance. So I need to ask you some questions. And I go right back to a question, right? So I could take the control back from that client. So find out the why. What's the problem? Label that problem so they understand it. I want them to hear themselves saying the problem. So they could tell me, well, I don't have anything, because I do ask when they tell me whatever the reason why we're there, because my term expired last month and I need. So I said, wait a minute, very concerned. John, you're telling me that if something was to happen to you today or tomorrow, your family doesn't have anything? No, you don't have anything. I want them to hear themselves, because I think that's a mistake. I want them to hear themselves knowing and saying, we have to do this right now because I don't have anything. And what would that look like for your daughter, Susie, if you pass away tomorrow? Does she have $20,000 in the bank to take care of this? No. Okay, so I see why I'm here. I always say that. I see why we're talking, confirming why I'm there. So that's how I set the tone for and then the rest is like, John, I don't know which program you will qualify for today, but I'm going to do my best to help you. I'm going to do my best to help John. John, we have a lot of companies we work with, unlike other people that you might have spoken to. We don't work with one carrier, we work with everybody. So that what that means for you is that we're going to find the best program that you qualify for today with your health and your age. Okay, John? And I'm always asking, okay, John, does that sound fair to you? Because I want them to agree with me, right? And we're on the same page. And that's important to know. And then I always want to ask, okay, so John, have you been talking to other people, or am I the first person you talk to? Why do I want to know that? Because if John is just looking for price and calling everybody in town, we want to stop. This is your last call. Like, we're going to stop this right now. Or is John getting declined because he got a condition that he's not telling anybody, and now we're going to go through the same drama? So John, have you been talking to other people? Yeah, I talked to a few agents. Okay, so was it the price, or was it that you didn't qualify for? What happened? They will tell you. But a lot of agents are not asking the right questions. So that's why you don't know. And then you go try to put that client with Mutual of Omaha or somebody else, and they get the client. Well, they didn't tell you they had a bypass surgery 6 months ago because you didn't ask the questions, and then they didn't tell you. So I dig in and I try to find out. And then I'm always setting up the tone for what's next. Right. Okay. So John, what we're going to do today, and I explain the process. We're going to see what you qualify for. I do have to ask you a few more questions. I always want to ask, are you still working? Are you disabled? Are you retired? Because, if they disabled and they want a term policy, they're not going to get it. So why waste my time when I know I'm going to final expense? So those are the things that you, from the beginning, you kind of set the tone. When I'm working with the Spanish market, my biggest challenge is like, what's your legal status? Are you a resident? Are you a citizen? Do you have an ITIN? Did you have a work permit? Because then my choices are limited with those options, right? So that's kind of the way I do it. I hope
What do
that.
you write for the ITIN number?
Oh, well, we
And that's all
have
they have.
National Life is amazing, but this is not final expense. This is people that qualify for IUL and term. National Life will give you a policy with ITIN, like they have the actual numbers, like a social security, it's 9 digits. And then either they have a license, a state ID, even a passport from their country, and you'll get them approved with National Life. With American Amicable too, which is great because then you have final expense, you got term, you got IUL, you got everything. We need to talk about maybe having Sean have Miracle take ITIN. That will be a game changer, but we're
really
not
would
there
be.
yet. We're not
We're
there
not
yet.
there yet. But that's a great idea. He'll probably watch this. It'll be good
Yeah,
then.
I'm gonna send him a message. We need to get America to do ITIN.
But American Amicable too, huh? That works with them.
American Amicable, yes, they do it and they're very good. I just had a lady approved with them with an IUL, and she only had the ITIN number, which is a 9-digit number, and her passport from Chile. And I was able to get her approved with them.
Nice.
100,000
Well, that's great.
IUL, yes.
Because I get that question all the time, and then I say American Amicable, but now I've confirmed it's true because Digna does it.
Yes, definitely.
I cut you off. You were saying something else. You were talking about the process, the steps for you. One of the things is ITIN, citizenship,
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Yes.
And how do you build value in the rest of it? Like I think that's where you were going with it because you're asking them
Yeah.
questions now, underwriting questions, that type of thing.
Yeah, so once I find out what's the medical situation with this client, I went through all of my questions. Take your time, if they say they have diabetes, is a type 2, are you metformin, are you taking insulin? Did you get it before the age of 45? You want to know all these things because then you know what carrier you're going for. And these are things that I didn't know at the beginning, that after, again, activities, just do a lot and mess it up. I did it so messy at the beginning that I now, like, I already know, like, I got to ask this if they say this, right? So building value in what we have is so easy for us just because we have so many choices for them. The way I feel is like, John, have you spoken to somebody else today based on what we have here for your medications and everything? Most likely they would have not approved you or not find you anything. Here's the great news, John. You're working with us, and we are underwriters, and we have all the carriers, and we're going to be able to find you something. Now, here's the thing. I cannot promise you anything today. What we're going to do, we're going to submit an application for coverage. So I'm going to ask you a few more questions just to see which will be the correct amount and what's, the pricing and all that. And then we're going to submit that application for coverage. Once we get an approval, then we could decide, all the other stuff. Okay, that sounds right, John? Is that fair to you? Yes. Okay. So and I just keep going. Then once I'm going to give pricing, the 3 options. I always give 3 options, right? So I get a low one. Once I do the finances, so I know how much they make, what's the monthly income, what are the expenses? I want to know a little bit. Are they paying a car payment? Do they have a home? Because if there's a mortgage, we might talk about mortgage protection after we do this, right? Because I don't want to bring anything else till we do what we came for this appointment, right? So once I know that they have just a couple $100 left at the end of the month, I'm not going to give them anything for $300. I'm not going to waste my time. but I do something like, let's say if it's a final expense, I'm going to do the top they qualify for, which could be 40 or 50,000. And then I'm going to do in the middle, I'm going to do a 25. And then I do a 10 or 15, depending on how low the budget is. And then I say, John, okay, based on what we talked today, and again, I don't know if you could have this, but I'm going to do my best to qualify you for this option. So I'm going to give you 3. You have your pen and paper ready? Yes. Okay, so John, we could do the 15,000. I start from the bottom up, the 15,000, and that's going to be, let's say it's 57.75. You got that? Okay. And then we're going to do 25,000, and let's say that's 125. And then the most you qualify for today is 40,000, John, and that's going to be $205. Let's just say those are the prices. This is my question to John. John, between $205 and $57 with those 3 options, which one is better for your budget? Don't say anything. Don't say anything. You wait for John. Even if it takes a little bit of time, it's awkward, you just stay there. Don't talk, because we're going to get like, what's going on? Just wait. They're going to tell you. Either they're going to tell you it's too expensive and they don't want it. Oh, I thought I was going to get it for $20. Well, John, you are 65, right? Did I get your birthday correct? There is no $20 insurance for a 65-year-old, John. You know that. So which one of those 3 you think is best for you? I go right back to my question. Or they will tell you, well, you know what? I think the 25,000 sounds good. Good. That's what I was thinking too. That's a good, that's a good one to start with. So John, did you have a middle initial? Here's a mistake a lot of agents do. Now you're going to just talk about something else and try to resell something that you already sold. That, like the client already told you they want 25,000. Keep going with your application. Don't do anything else. Don't talk about anything else. One thing that I do, and I didn't say it at the beginning, when I'm offering those options, I talk about what the policy has, right? The benefits. This is what the benefits comes in, right? And I said, John, so as we had already spoken about term, whatever they had going on. So I know what they want, because they already told me that they want something to cover final expense because they don't want their kids to pay for it, or they want to make sure they leave something behind. So I already know what's going on with John. So when I say this, I said, so John, this prices that I'm going to give you, this amounts of coverage, these are the ones that the price is never going to change for you, right? That's what you were looking for. Perfect. These are the ones that, God forbid something happened tomorrow, we want to try to get you a level of approval. What that means to you, John, that your family could have this money and there's no waiting period. Is that what you're looking forward to? Yes. And I'm confirming all of that. And then later on, if you're still around, there's going to be some money there. Like you need to do something quick, and there's a little bit of money with the monthly premium. They'll put your little savings in there. You can use that money too. Okay, John? Okay, perfect. So this, and then I go in to my pricing, and then once they choose one, we're not talking about that anymore. It's done. We're doing application. I'm going right for everything that I need. And I confirm the name of those beneficiary, and I go right for Social Security and all of the above.
Perfect. Well, that sounds really good. Yeah, it's interesting, like just some of the things you said, like for instance, that's how I went on a ride along one time with Andrew Taylor, and I'd been in the business for like a year, and Andrew doesn't talk a lot. And even as an appointments, he didn't talk a lot. But whenever he would get like the slightest inkling that they just agreed to it, he was writing on the application. Like everything else stopped, and he was literally filling it out. And it was just that simple. Like if you did qualify, which one would you go for? And as soon as they said one, like they just agreed, and then they have to stop him. That's the only way they get out of it. So it's interesting you take the same approach. That's really good.
Sometimes I'm actually already on the first part of the application is already done. Like I already know where I'm going. I'm already in America, about to send the text message, just waiting for Social Security. Like I'm ahead of the game, because in telesales, you got to be fast. Here's the thing for telesale, guys. Your computer has to be working. Your phone has to be charged. You have to have your login right there. Don't be looking for stuff when you have a client on the phone. When you have a client on the phone, you're gonna do a policy. And if you go in with that mindset, you will be writing policies, period.
Well, the assumptiveness is so huge because if they don't do it, it's weird. And then if you hesitate, it's weird,
Yes.
right? Like it's like if you went up, if you went to McDonald's and you go up to the counter and like there's 14 people in front of you in line, when you get up there and they're like, "How can I help you?" You're like, "I don't know. I haven't looked at the menu yet." Like it would be strange, right? Like it would be really weird if the person at McDonald's was talking about all this other stuff other than taking your order. It's kind of the same thing. And you're right, a lot of people do that. They'll have them pick one and then they're uncomfortable, so they change the subject for a little while, and then they try to get back into it. It's like, man, just
Yeah.
give them what they want.
Yeah, and
Um,
they need that from us, guys. They really need to know. Like in that conversation, there's this me and the client. Whoever believes the most and is more certain of what we have is the one that's gonna get through with the point. Like they gotta know that I know what I'm talking about. That even when I don't know, guys, I still sound like I know. And that's on you, right? Because if you're doubting yourself and you're going around and you like some people give the prices and then they want to explain the price and they then want to like you ask for social security and before you ask you're gonna have to say, well, you know this, I'm not gonna explain anything unless they ask a question and I need to explain it. That's the only time. When I say social, I said, John, what's your social security number? That's how I asked for it. I'm not going to go around why. If he said why, then I said, well, John, as you know before, we used to send the nurse to your house and they would do the blood and the urine. We don't do any of that anymore because after the pandemic, the companies have changed all of that. So what we do now with your social security number, when you go to the doctor, you know, they have that little computer, everything is in there. So that's what the companies used to qualify you. So that what's that number again? I'm not just moving through the process, like let's go.
yeah, that's good. How do you ensure good persistency? How do you make sure the policies stay on the books?
That's great.
Was
So
was that ever a challenge or no?
it's always is in this industry because if you know what you're doing now, if you connect good with the client, and one thing that I do more than now more than ever is like so John, I want you to know that God forbid something happens to you, I'm assigned to your family, not just to him, to the family. So I want your family to, be able to call me because they could call the company, but that could take longer. I'm the person in between. I'll be able to make that phone call and make sure your family's taken care of. Here's what I want you to do, John. When you get the package from America, from Mutual, from whatever company, you're going to get the package in the mail. I want you to get a marker and I want you to write my name real big on the front of the envelope with my phone number. And I want you to let your beneficiary know that they could call that number. And then I always do a text message. When I do that text message, I say, can you send me a little time? Or can you just say, I got it, Digna? So I know you got it. And can you save me on your phone? I'm sure they save me on the phone when they with me. Can you save me on your phone? So if I call, and sometimes I just call them back as a test. Like, did you save me on the phone? Did you see my name? Because now I have a connection with this person. And sometimes I have them just give me their daughters if she's a beneficiary. Can I get your daughter's number because I want to call her and explain to her her responsibility as your beneficiary, and then that could be another policy. So I'd like to do that. And then my assistant Jessica, my VA, we send messages for every holiday. She'll send out a message for Christmas, for whatever, every season of the year. She's sending messages to them. And then we sometimes send like a little education, like we're trying to stay in touch with this client because there's a lot of stuff out there. And if they don't, sometimes it's not about price. It really isn't. It's about you. It's about who you are and do they feel that you got the best interest for them. Like yesterday,
That's
I
right.
don't work on Sunday. I work 6 days a week, but on Sunday, I have a client that he could only meet on Sunday. And I just did a policy for him, his wife, and his 2 kids. And I met with him yesterday just to go over what he had. He had IULs for him and his kids. and the wife got a special package because she had cancer a little while ago. So I just confirmed everything with him. And then I said, you know what? One of the girls in the office, which is one of my other agents, is going to call you with a gift. And we have some vacation certificate. We got some stuff and we just send them a gift. And then that gift is really to get referrals. And then we're like, who else in your family can we help? You have a brother, sister, anybody else? Are you happy with what we did for you? And that's what builds us a real business, right? And this is stuff that I didn't do at the beginning. I was running so hard and doing, just going from one to the other. And a lot of us is still doing that today. So I'm going to encourage you, like I just did to myself. I'm like, Digna, you need to slow down and let's keep these clients on the books.
Yeah, slow down to speed up. That's how it works. So
100%.
that's good. What about how much do you, okay, so 2 rapid fire questions. So how much do you spend on leads a week, and how many hours do you think you put in helping clients?
A lot of hours. So leads, I've been working a new programs called the virtual CRM, and I'm able to run my Facebook ads through there. So I have those on 7 days a week. So I do on a minimum about 800 to 1,000 a week, and that's 7 days a week. Never stop those. They keep coming in. I do some transfers come in sometimes, and I do the 3 months and the 1 and 3 months on the CRM. So anywhere between 4 and 5,000 a month, sometimes a little more. It all depends. And what was the other question?
How many hours do you think
hours?
you spend on the phone with clients?
Let me talk about my people that want to do telesales here. So let me tell you something, guys. When you do telesales, one thing I knew from the beginning, and this is for me, I'm a mom of 4. I was never home when my kids were younger because I was always working corporate. So for me, it's like I wanted to work from home. This is my home office. My kitchen is on the other side. I'm a mom. I got homework. I pick up kids in school. I do laundry and I do dinner. So I get up I'm a 5 a.m. girl. I work out every morning. And I get on Zoom. My Zoom runs 6 days a week from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. at night. So I do 12-hour days. Do I take breaks in between? Yes. I go pick up my son. I do dinner, and but I'm here. My team knows I'm here. They don't call me on my phone because they're not going to find me. They got to get on Zoom to see me and talk to me. So I'm on Zoom 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. Saturdays is a great day to be on the phones and help clients. And Sundays I take off from my family, church, and do other stuff, right? We need a break. I get that. But I work very hard. You got to be disciplined if you want to do telesales. You can't, that's a big misunderstanding out there. Like, oh, when you're going to work from home, you get up when you're done sleeping. No, you don't. You could be broke if you do that. But if you want to make money, this is your job. I treat this as a job that it happens to be from home. And I need to show up for my agents. I need to show up for my family. And I don't want to make any excuses. Sometimes I actually earn my breakfast. Like I didn't make enough calls. I didn't talk to enough people. I didn't do one presentation. I shouldn't even have breakfast yet. Let me keep going. Like you really got to get tough on yourself, because then it'll be easier later. So now I'm grinding. So this is a lot of hours that I put in 6 days a week.
Amen to that. I'm glad you shared that, because a lot of people think the easy way is like, listen, I'm just going to do telesales because that sounds easier. Right? You gotta do the work. There ain't no way around the work. That's for
100%.
sure. So anything else? So what do you wish that you knew when you first started that you know now? And then anything else you think would be helpful that we didn't cover?
So one thing that first of all, I'm going to say, believe sooner, faster, bigger. Like this is the best thing out there. Like if I knew that from the beginning, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I would have done so much more. But then again, it's okay. Because the minute you realize that, then you go all in, right? So just believe sooner. Don't wait. Just do it. Do more activities, right? Buy more leads. They say that from the beginning, and you still like, oh, why do they want me to buy more? Buy leads, as many as you need. do more calls, get on the phone more, like fail sooner, faster, like just do more activities because that's going to get you sooner to that place. And then also, I should have spoke Spanish sooner. My gosh, I've been talking to Spanish agents that are in other companies, and it's really bad out there for them. And here's why, because they're working with people that don't speak Spanish. And they don't know what they're doing, and nobody's able to explain to them what they're doing. So I created a whole Spanish system for them, and it's so amazing to see them like, oh my goodness, I could understand now. I could do this. They're really hungry and they want to do this, but they need the support. So I should have spoke Spanish sooner and believe and go all in from the beginning. So if you're new here, don't wait. Like go all in now. Like believe you. One of the things that I'm really big is on identity, right? Because when you have if I had the identity of an integrity partner like Mr. Trey, right? If I was an integrity partner, and I ask myself that question all the time, what will my identity look like? How do I walk into my Zoom call every morning? How do I do my trainings? How do I do social media? So you got it. And some of you guys might be saying, Digna, I'm just doing 5K a month or whatever. I'm new at this. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I want you to think, what if you were not? What if you were an integrity partner? What if you already had a big agency? How would you walk into your Zoom or your appointments every single day? How would you call your leads? So walk into your new identity before you get there, because then when you get there, it's like, oh, I've been here before. So that to
Right.
me is huge. Own your
Hmm.
business from the beginning. It's not the leads, it's not your manager, it's not the company. I'm so grateful for Sean and for what he put together. Guys, this is amazing. Like, I've been around for 5 years and I've been in other companies. There's absolutely nothing like this. There isn't. And even if they tell you there isn't. This is it. And knowing
Right.
that you could own your business from day one and that you could build an agency from day one, that's huge. And I didn't take advantage of that at the beginning. And I'm kind of kicking myself in the head. And I was like, no, just do it now. Right. So be positive, good energy, get up earlier and do the work. Here's the thing. Nobody wants to do the work. They want the new lead, the new system, the new, what is she saying? I'm not saying anything different than everybody else that has been on this meeting. I say the same thing. I might even say it worse than they do. But here's the thing. I show up every day, 6 days a week, and I make all the calls and I get all the no's and all the stuff, and I still show up. So if you do that, I promise you, you too will have success. Don't think that's a shortcut. That's not an easier way. It's just activities, and compounding that, then you get better. Then I got better on the phone, because at the beginning I was a mess. Then I got better, and then I realized that I don't need to do 500 calls or 100, or sometimes I talk to 10 clients and I do 3 policies. Voila, that's awesome. That's not every day. But why? Because I got better. Why did I get better? Because I kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And that's what I encourage everyone here. Just do the work. It's boring. It's every day. It's every day. It's the same work. Just get it done.
Well, that was refreshing, and that is absolutely true. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for this call. It's been one of the best ones we ever did. We'll probably do a round 2 with Digna at some point. Um, but yeah, this has been great, guys. This recording will be up on YouTube soon. I encourage you to re-listen to it. Digna, if there's anything me or Steven can ever do for you, just let us know. We're excited to help any way we can, and keep killing it. You're doing great, and I look forward to your continuing success. Thanks for
Thank
being
you,
on with
Trey.
us.
I'm honored. Thank you so much. Stephen, you're amazing. And I love everyone in this Zoom. Thank you so much. Have a great day. And I'm here if anybody needs anything. Find me on social media. I'm all over the place on social media.
Nice. There's only one Digna, so it's easy.
It's easy, right?
Have a good day, guys.
You too.